Thank you. That's so nice. Wow. That's nice. We're all here now. That's great. We made it. I travel a lot. I traveled here because that's how you get places. And whenever I fly, I like to sit in the emergency exit row. And but they always ask you that question. They're always like, "Sir, are you willing and able to assist in the case of an emergency?" And recently, I was on a super early flight, and I said the words, "I'm excited for the opportunity." And they still let me sit there. They're like, "That's a yes, we gotta stay on schedule." So I feel like you see a lot when you travel. Like, I realize a lot of hospitals in this country are affiliated with a religion, you know, just in case the science doesn't work out. I don't know if they pitch it like that. It's like, "Hey man, we gotta operate, but you should go pray first, because your insurance doesn't cover anesthesia. And we got a new guy in there, so you're gonna want the Holy Spirit around." A lot of the Catholic hospitals are named after saints. I drove past one, it was not. It was called Resurrection Healthcare. Okay. That sets the bar a little high. Like, I just came here for a sprained ankle. Like, you drop your grandma off at a place called Resurrection Healthcare, I feel like there's an expectation that you're gonna pick her up. Like it'd be weird if like a sad surgeon came out splattered in blood, just being like, "We did everything we could." Oh, okay. Well, I don't think you did. Yeah, we'll be back in 3 days. That's the average, right? 3 days? One guy? I don't know. I feel like if you name your hospital Resurrection Healthcare, you have to be like the best hospital ever. Or I guess you could be maybe the worst, either way. Like, it's either like Resurrection Healthcare, because everybody is gonna leave here alive. Or whatever your religious song is. Or it could be the worst. Or it could be like, Resurrection Healthcare. Okay, so what happened was, she was alive, for sure. Now she's not. But whenever Jesus comes back, then she gets to. No copay. I see a lot of stuff that I don't see. Like, I saw a billboard I'd never seen before. Recently, I was driving. It said, it was very intense. It said, "Opioid addiction can begin after 5 days." And I say it like that because the font was scary. And I wanted you to feel it. I'm a performer first. I know that they're being like, "Don't do drugs," but it kind of sounds like a little bit, like they're being like, "You could do opioids for 4 days." And be fine. What are you worried about? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you gotta wrap it up, okay? Invite some people over, finish them off. You can't do opioids for a full work week, okay? Just say no every 4 days. I remember I told my mom about it because I thought it was weird, and she got worried. She was like, "Michael, you better not talk about that on stage because someone might see your show and then go home and do opioids just 1 day. And then they might die after 1 day because of your show." Well, so don't do that, please. Because it's sad, but she's right. You can die after 1 day of doing opioids. You know, you can die without even doing opioids. That's how dangerous they are. I'd have to say that more people have died from not doing opioids than anything in the world. Look at the numbers. I bet they're staggering. Even if you're prescribed opioids, don't do them, okay? Just sell them. But only 4 servings at a time. How many servings you want? I don't know. That's how you do that. I got a haircut before I came here. I realized I still don't know what to say as an adult man when I go in to get a haircut. Like every time I go in there, the lady she'll be like, what do you want me to do? Oh. So the reason I came in here is because I thought that you would know. Right, like, you saw what I did, so fix it. Like, I don't want to be mean, you know? Like, what do you want me to, what I want you to do? I want you to do whatever you did before, but with 3 months more experience. Show me what you've learned. She'll have follow-up questions. She'll be like, do you want me to use clippers or scissors? Like, oh, I still don't know any of it. Like I don't know why you put your combs in blue Gatorade. Like how hard are these combs working that they need their electrolytes replenished at such an intense, inconsistent rate? She's very nice. It's just sometimes weird at the end of the haircut too, because she'll be like, do you want to see the back? Well, I think it's too late. Like, it's already gone. So I kind of would rather just pretend that it's how I like it. But she's so nice, I don't even think before I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll look at the back, you know? So then she'll hand me a mirror, and she'll spin me around, and I am still looking at the front. Dina, we gotta do one more lap. I appreciate everybody being here. It's very special to come and do a show for everybody. I like talking to people after the show too. One time it was a little weird. One time a guy came up to me after a show and he was like, I don't want to be a stalker. Well, don't say that. Like, at least don't open with it. Yeah. Like, wait until I'm in your basement. Like stalking isn't something that sounds better if you get ahead of it. That's for little stuff, right? Like maybe you get food on your shirt and you have a job interview and they're like, what would you say is your biggest weakness? You can just be like, condiments, you know? I don't know, that could help get you the job. Like, oh yeah, you got mustard right here. You're hired. We're gonna call you the colonel for 6 years because we love Clue as an office. You can't bring up stalking in a job interview, even if it is your biggest weakness. That would be insane, right? Like, what would you say is your biggest weakness? Well, you know, sometimes, I'll see a girl, and I'm too shy to go talk to her. So, you know, I follow her. And I'd have to say that's my biggest weakness right now. Sometimes I do 2 desserts before bed, but after a lot of reflecting, I'd say stalking takes the cake. Any other questions? I have one. When do I start? I know what kind of car you drive and where you live. I don't know. I didn't think that the guy was a stalker. Like, he didn't look, but I don't really know what a stalker looks like, you know, because they're usually in the shadows or whatever. Like, whenever I hear the word stalker, I just picture the guy from the old neighborhood watch signs, you know? He's like, He's like leaning forward. He's glaring at you. He's wearing a fedora for some reason, like he's a 1920s gangster or an angry Jason Mraz. Like, is that the threat in the neighborhood? Just a man sprinting down the street at night being like, I won't hesitate. No more, no more. I'm yours. The guy clarified right away. He was like, I don't want to be a stalker, but I saw a video of yours on YouTube, and that's why I came to the show tonight. Oh, well, real quick, like, who taught you how to talk to people? Which parent in your life was like, whenever you meet someone new, say the scariest thing first? Like, that's not stalking, that's advertising, right? That's why I put it on YouTube, so people know to come to the show. That'd be like if you went into McDonald's and they're like, what would you like? And you're like, I don't want to be a stalker. But I heard the McRib is back. I was thinking about McDonald's recently because I saw this and I thought it was weird. I saw a Tesla car go into the McDonald's drive-thru, which is weird because if you bought a Tesla, that means you spent extra money on a car to like save the earth. And then you looked at your body and you were like, whatever. Right? Like you looked at the trees and the rivers and the mountains and like, I'm gonna save you for my children. Supersize, please. Children. And that's not a thing against McDonald's, you know? I'll go to McDonald's because it's fast or because it's cheap or because I just bought groceries. And there's no way I'm cooking on the same day I bought groceries. That's something I've learned about myself as an adult. If there's fresh food in the car, we're not eating it today. What kind of go-getter are you? You're cooking the same day. No. You hunted, you gathered, you're done. Groceries aren't even really for cooking. Half the time, they're for putting in the back of your fridge. And then when they go bad, that's when you know it's time to go back to the grocery store. I don't know how many times I'll pull a bag of frosted vegetables out of the refrigerator. It'll be like, best if used by. It should just be like, you made it. You don't have to eat carrots this week. I don't know. But if you have a Tesla, I don't know, you might have really good groceries. You might have a personal chef that can like cook them for you. And maybe you didn't know they went to McDonald's. They don't know you went to McDonald's. They start cooking right away. You come in the door, they're just like, hello. I don't know, they have an accent for some reason. It's like, we have filet mignon. That's a different country. And you're just like, oh, I already ate. I had McNuggets, all of them, and French fries, and high-C lava burst. And for dessert, I had one of those apple pies that's like normal hot on the outside. And then I bit into it. And I think I interrupted welding. And I burned off all my taste buds after the first one, but I ate 2 of them because that's how they sell them. Stay in a lot of hotels when I travel. I always think it's weird when I'm going to check in that like at the check-in time with my luggage, they're always like, "Can I help you?" I want to buy the place. Like, type my name in. Let's see what happens. I like staying in nice hotels. I know my hotel is nice when I'm checking in, and it's the one where all the kids' teams are staying that weekend. Kids travel a lot for being non-professional athletes. I never even thought to sit my parents down at that young of an age and just be like, Mom, Dad, we gotta hit the road. If you believe in me like you say you do, then you'll be excited to take the only 2 days off of work you get per week and travel to a different part of the country and watch me, your son, lose by more than you thought possible. You also might have to develop a drinking habit with the parents in the hotel lobby late at night as you criticize the coach for their decision making. Because there's no way it was your kid's fault, because they have your genes and you almost played varsity 2 times. If not now, then when, Dad? I'm almost 7. Parents get so intense, you know? Sometimes they'll decorate their child's hotel room door to the outside world with the kid's name on it and their sport, which is a great way to show your kids support. And a great way to show strangers where the children are sleeping. You know, when they're most vulnerable and unaware. Like, you even put the sport the kid was good at so they know the kidnappers know what country they can sell them to for their Olympics. Like, oh, Indonesia needs a parallel bars kit. Like, I'm sure it never happens. It's just weird for the rest of us because we're not with your group, but you're advertising to us as if we would go. Like, that'd be weird if I saw. Like, one time, I was doing a show. I was going to my hotel. It's 1 a.m., going to my hotel room. All of a sudden, there's just a big sign in the hallway. It's just like, go Tegan! Level 3 state gymnastics! As if I'd see that and be like, that's this week? I gotta get tickets. Like, but now I know about it, and like I care like a little bit. Like if someone were to be like, who do you want to win? I'd be like, Tegan, she's my neighbor, you know? She works so hard for this. Like I know I'm going to bed that night. I might be like, go Tegan, go. Dear God, I pray for Tegan. Like, and it's weird because they never tell you how she did. There's never a follow-up poster the next day that's like, better luck next time, Tegan! Back to level 2, and then just a picture of her falling or on crutches. Like, I can't ask, you know? What am I supposed to do? Go up to a girl in the breakfast buffet near the business center / lobby and just be like, hey, are you Tegan? How did level 3 go? Because I don't want to be a stalker, but I was thinking about you last night. As I walked past your hotel room door. I don't know. I'm a dad. My son's not old enough to travel. He's 5. His name is Jack Palascak. And I don't know. I love being a dad. I remember when I was a kid, I heard that Cats in the Cradle song about the dad who doesn't spend a lot of time with his kid, you know, because of the age difference. It's a pretty big gap, you know? And then the kid grew up and didn't spend time with his dad. And I was like, all right, okay, when I'm a dad, I'm gonna spend as much time with my kid as possible, right? And now I'm a dad and I spend as much time with my kid as possible. And, oh, thank you. And I'm starting to think that sometimes it might just be easier to be sad when I'm older. I still appreciate the earlier applause, though, on that. I love my son. It's just been a little while since I've missed him. You know? I realized that hide and seek was definitely invented by a parent who just needed like 10 seconds so they didn't commit a felony. She's like, what are we going to do now, Mommy? Well, you're going to go somewhere that I can't see you anymore. And me? Well, I'm going to count to 10 like the doctor said to do. They're so active, right? He started climbing out of his crib when he was 2. My mom saw it on FaceTime. She's like, Michael, you got to put him in a toddler bed because he could climb out and he could hurt himself, which I don't know why a lid isn't an option. He's 2. He doesn't know how high his ceiling's supposed to be, right? We all have lids on some level, you know? His name's Jack. He's in a box. It makes sense. I can play music when he wakes up in the morning, you know, like da-da, da-da, da. Hey, wait for your cue! He's 5 now. He hates going to sleep. That's his least favorite activity, which is weird because it's the highlight of my day. And no, I love all of it. It's just it's easier when they're babies in a sense because after a certain amount of months, the doctor tells you, books tell you that if your child doesn't want to go to sleep, you just put him in the crib and you let him cry it out. That's what they tell you. They tell you that when it sounds like your child needs you more than anything in the world, you get out of there. And you live your own life, you know? Stay on the premises for legal reasons, but they need you to leave. That's the only age you're really allowed to do that to a person. Like if you're in a relationship with somebody as an adult and they start crying at night, you can't be like, all right, well, I gotta go now. You gotta learn how to self-soothe. Like, that's what they say, that your child, who's not even 1 yet, needs to learn how to self-soothe. I'm an adult, and I don't know how to I can't go to bed without being on TikTok for an inordinate amount of time, and sometimes I DoorDash chocolate cake, which is where they'll deliver chocolate cake to your house. And now I gotta teach him. I gotta be like, hey, buddy, you gotta learn how to self-soothe, okay? I know you're not 1 yet, but you need to learn how to fall asleep on a mattress with no blankets or pillows. And no stuffed animals. And there's gonna be music, but who knows when that'll stop, haha. We're gonna turn the lights off, and I don't even know how electricity works, so that has to be magic for you. And the only 2 people that you love more than anything in the world, they're gonna leave. They're gonna leave you, and you might hear them a little bit, but they're not coming in, because this is war. You gotta learn this. I would watch it. It didn't look very soothing. When my child was about to fall asleep, he would scream very loud, then his head would go from side to side, and then he would just be out. It would just be like, ah! Ah! Is he asleep? Well, the demon inside of him is. So we can watch Stranger Things now, but I don't think I have to. It's fun. I love traveling together. One time we were on a plane a little while ago, and it was like the first time he was on a plane that he knew he was on a plane. He pulled out the emergency pamphlet right away, and he's like, Dad, what's this? And I was like, that's when the plane has to land on the water. Because I don't want to scare him, but I don't want to lie, you know? And then he said more clearly than I've ever heard him speak in his entire life up to that point, like, Dad, I want the plane to land on the water. Well, we can't order that, so you want juice? They have juice. We want to land on the land. That's why it's called land. I don't know. That's why it's called. Like, no, Dad, I want the plane to land on the water. For sure. Right. Okay. So what you're doing right now is called terrorism. And if there's an air marshal on this flight, we're not together anymore, because, I'm going home for Christmas. I don't know. It's fun traveling. We traveled when my younger brother got married. We saw all the family. I started thinking, though, I think it's weird that when a couple gets engaged, that, like, when it's a man and a woman, traditionally, the woman will get a ring, right? Right? And then the man, he gets just to give it to her. Like, that's the exchange. She gets a diamond ring, and he gets to be like, I love you so much that I picked out the one that you picked out ahead of time. Because I know that you don't trust me when it comes to financial decisions over $300. All because of that bad week on DraftKings. Like, she gets a diamond ring. And he gets to be like, I love you so much that I can no longer afford to start a family right away. Also, for a while, we're gonna use the library's Wi-Fi as our main source of Wi-Fi. And it's just weird, because now she has a thing to put on her finger, so like the whole world knows that she is not romantically interested in them. And from my experience, women are like already good at that. Like, if they're not interested, you just kind of know. They're usually polite about it, but like, you don't need to see the shimmer of a diamond. You can feel the steel in their soul. That's why I think it's hard for me as a man to go shopping in like a mall by myself, because I'll walk into a store and a woman will come up to me and be like, can I help you? And immediately I'm thinking, she loves me. Like, no one's greeting me like that other than my mother. And the man doesn't get anything, right? He doesn't get a t-shirt. He doesn't get a bumper sticker. He doesn't get it. Like, when it comes to the man telling the world that he's not romantically interested in them, as a society, we're just like, well, I don't know, you should probably tell people. Which has got to be weird as a man to be like, okay, you want me to use my communication skills? That's strange, because that's been the main downfall of every previous relationship. With my words and how and when I choose to use them. Like I've been in relationships where I'm like, this is going so well, I don't know how this could ever end. And then I use my words and I'm like, oh, that was quick. I wasn't even trying to get out, but here we are. Okay. Time to get on the apps. But now in this moment that could define my romantic happiness for life, when maybe this person is engaged to the love of their life, but they're approached by another woman who's maybe a little younger. Like, who cares? Age is a number. Like, maybe a little more attractive, just in that light, not in real life, because it's not possible. You want me to use my word? Like, which words? Like, no thank you, I got one. Get out of here! Like, that felt harsh. I can feel it. It'd probably be nicer. Like, hi, how are you? Oh, yeah, no, I'm engaged. No, how would you know? Because no one cares. But I'm getting married. There's no date yet, so who knows? But I love her. She's not here. She's at Zumba, I think. And but she's the love of my life. You're great, too. That's not to say that you're not. Like if not going to say that. But you'll meet someone, for sure. Anyone. And in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram. That's legal. And then, you can see the pictures of the wedding. And you can like the pictures of the wedding. And then, in a year, if you don't see pictures of the wedding, then send me a direct message. Which words? Those words. One thing I have learned from relationships is that you should never, ever, ever call the other person crazy. First off, I don't think it's ever a productive conversation. I don't think anybody's ever been like, you're crazy, and the other person's like, huh. Oh. Yeah, I can see why you'd say that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I have some changes to make, and the world is going to be better because of it. No. That's either they're not crazy, and that's not a nice thing to say about someone just because they happen to disagree with you about a specific topic. Or they are crazy. And once you call them crazy, they're gonna be like, you wanna see crazy? And you don't wanna see crazy because you thought that you already saw crazy. And apparently that was just their normal day-to-day activity. And it's hard because you never really know someone at the beginning. Like one time I was in a relationship a long time ago. You wouldn't know her. And no one. And at some point in the relationship, I thought that she was gaslighting me. And she told me she wasn't, so I knew. And actually me bringing it up was gaslighting her. I was like, I'm so sorry. I think breakups are always hard, even if you know that's good to break up. Like, I always thought it was harder to get broken up with, because I was really good at that. You know, you just hold on until everyone leaves. And then one time I was in a relationship, super long time ago, and you would know, and a different person. And I was like, someone's got to call it, you know? Someone's got to be like the Dark Knight, right? Not the hero Gotham wants, but the hero Gotham needs. And so I was like, I think we should break up. And then she got sad, and then I got sad. And she saw that I was sad. And she was like, Michael, if you're sad, maybe we just shouldn't break up. No, I thought about that. And for me, I think that'd be worse. Like, I'm sad now, but I think I'm about to be less sad. We should have just texted this conversation. Because there's nothing you can say to make it better. What are you supposed to, like, it's been a good run. Well, let's keep running then. Oh. Not like a good run, you know. More like a marathon that you didn't really train for. And like, all your friends bailed, you know? And like 100 yards in, you find out you have asthma for the first time. So every breath burns, and you limp out of the race early, and your muscles are cramping up, and you have blisters, and like the sunscreen mixes with the sweat, and it's burning your eyeballs, so you can't see that well, and you get clipped by a Chrysler, and you're just laying on a parking lot ground. You're not sure if you're dead or alive, but then a kid starts poking you with a stick. So you know you're alive, but you're not really sure if you want to be. So that kind of a good run. You can always go to a couples therapy, which is good, but I don't think they should call it couples therapy, you know? I think they should call it, at least one of you has problems. Right? I think more people would go, you know? Like, if you say to someone, I think we should go to couples therapy, they might feel attacked, they might get defensive, they might be like, we don't have money, you know? But if you say, hey, you want to go to this thing? It's called At Least One of Us Has Problems. Yeah, I think I do. Doesn't sound like therapy, that sounds like a game show. And I have screenshots of text messages that are going to give me points right off the top. They say it's never just one of you in couples therapy, you know? But I think it's also rare that it's exactly 50-50 all the time, you know? Maybe sometimes it's 51, 49, maybe like 60, 30, 10 is their parents, you know? Like one time I was in a relationship a long time ago, you wouldn't know her. And we were in couples therapy. And I don't know if it was her or it was me. I don't know. But I do know that before I met her, I was never in couples therapy. So who really knows who it could have been? I mean, it was her, but like, I didn't need her to tell me that it was her. I was happy to be there to support or whatever. I just think it would have been nice, looking back, during one of the sessions, during one of her rants, if like the therapist had just kind of looked at me and just been like, oh my gosh. you still doing here? I could keep her talking for 40 more minutes. You get in your car and you drive away as far away as you can. Change your name, go anywhere, go to Wabash, Indiana. I don't care. It's the childhood home of Crystal Gale. And they won state in baseball in 1986 before I went to classes. But you learn stuff in therapy, which is good. Like one therapist told me that when she would get upset, sometimes the things around her would get upset and like fly through the air. Like she was a student that didn't know she got into Hogwarts. And sometimes when she would get angry, she would throw things, and never at me because she loved me. And the therapist said because I wasn't like, hey, no throwing inside without a heads up or a game involved, that was enabling it to happen again. But that's not the thing, you know. There's no enablers anonymous. That'd be weird, right? What would that even be like? I'm just like, hi, my name's Michael. I'm an enabler. Everyone's just be like, no, you're not. You're fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. You want a donut? We got donuts. One therapist told us he knew a couple that were married, that were both therapists. And we were like, wow, they probably get along great. And he's like, well, actually, the wife said that sometimes she looks at her husband and she's like, I want to push him off a cliff. And before I had a chance to say or think anything, my significant other at the time was just like, oh, yeah. That's normal, right? And the doctor's like, that's normal, which I get. It might be normal to have a dark thought about someone you love that you see every day of your life. But I don't think it's normal if every time you see someone, you have to be like, Siri, which national park has the most cliffs? Like, and the easiest in and out parking. Like, how do you know when to break up if that's normal, right? Like, hey, I think we should break up. What? Why? Well, you know how sometimes I want to push you off a cliff? Yeah, that's normal for sure. Right. Well, now I want to watch you fall. And that doesn't feel normal, you know? I want to hear the sound that it would make if I could see the look on your face. I'd have to get like a GoPro and bungee jump at the exact right moment. So we broke up. She's like, I would never, ever do anything like that. But I did realize after we broke up that can be good, you know? Because if something happened to that person and you're with them still, like, they always come talk to the guy, you know? If she went missing, the police would come talk to me, and they would see me sad, for sure. They would see me sad. But they also might see like a glint of less sad, you know? They'd be like, sir, she's been missing for 3 days. What have you been doing for the last 3 days? And that glint would just be like the things that I wanted to do for once. Well, we're gonna have to ask you some questions, and you're gonna listen to all I have to say. I feel so validated. A lot of people get pets when they're in a relationship or out. One time a lady was moving in an apartment building I was living in, and she had a dog. And I was like, how old's your dog? And she was like, he's 13. And I didn't know that was old. I'd like do math in my head and then realize, oh, that's an old dog. And then realize that the way I'd responded was way too jolly for the information she just gave me about her dog about to not be alive anymore. And then I had to try to adjust that, you know, with a facial expression or a vocal inflection that's more somber. And it had to be weird for her to just stand there while I figured it all out. Right? I'm just like, how old's your dog? She's like, he's 13. Oh. Oh. Oh, hey, buddy. Hey, I'll see you later. Maybe. Can he still see? Like, if she had done the whole dog years thing, I would have known that, right? That'd be crazy if I didn't get that. If I was like, how old's your dog? And she was like, he's 91. And I was just like, no. That's too old for a dog. What was he in World War II? Thank you for your service. The greatest generation. A lot of people in my neighborhood have dogs. They have leash laws where I live. They're very specific, though. They only apply to you if you read the sign. And then you care. And that's not everybody. You know, like I'll be in the park and a dog will just run up to me out of nowhere. Owner always says the same thing. Owner's always just like, he's friendly! He's friendly! And then to the dog, he'll say something like, get over here. And that's not how I talk to friendly people. And it keeps going like that. Like, oh yeah, he's friendly though. He's great with children. Murphy, now! He's so friendly. He's the friendly. I'm gonna kill you. And bury you where no one will find you. So it's like you were never alive or dead. I'll buy one that looks just like you. I'm not a dog expert, but I think I know why he's running away from you. That's emotional abuse, and that's the worst kind because it's invisible. I always feel weird when the owner tells me that their dog is friendly because I feel like they can see that I'm scared. But I think it's normal to be a little startled, right? Like if a human was running at me, full speed, mouth open. Is he smiling? Who knows? But his tongue is out the whole time. He's screaming a little bit. His buddy's just trailing behind, just being like, he's friendly! He's great with kids! Like I still don't want to meet him. You know? He could be on day 4 of opioids and that. That is something we talked about earlier. He's friendly. That's what they always say about the dog. He's friendly. Of course your dog is friendly, right? Who unleashes their dog in a public park? Who brings their dog to a public park and like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go. It didn't go very well yesterday, but we evaded the authorities. Yes, we did. Yes, and you need your exercise, don't you? Yes, you do. Okay, here we go. Okay. Not friendly! You should all run in a different direction. Otherwise, he's just gonna get the slowest person. And that's the worst way to find out you're the slowest person in the park today. Not friendly! No, not friendly! There's no reason to zigzag! He's not an alligator dog! He's just a normal mammal dog who's gonna get you faster! Because he understands geometry better than you do right now! Not friendly! Climb on top of your cars! He doesn't know how to... Oh, he just learned that! Oh, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. He's not an old dog. He's under 13, for sure. I'd stick your leg near his mouth. Yeah, because then he might bite that instead of your neck. You'll be lucky. Not like the last guy. Not friendly! Some people have cats. I don't know a lot about cats either. Here's a cat running around the courtyard of my apartment building, and I knew that it was someone's cat because I had a tag on it, and cats just don't wear jewelry on their own. So I took a picture of the cat, I texted the owner replied like a day later. And she's like, hey, sorry, that's JJ. He's an indoor-outdoor cat, so he kind of just comes and goes. There's nothing really we can do about it, so hope he didn't bother you. Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that she could have a cat, right? Right? And now I have a cat sometimes. Like, so whatever. Like, what do you mean there's nothing you can do? You're the adult, you know? You can lock your door and be like, no! Like, you can paint your bathroom wall to look like the sky and the trees and then open the door like, whoa, this is outside too. Oh, look at that. Turn on the fan. Oh, it's windy outside today. And when I take a shower, I predict rain. Like, I didn't know. You could just say indoor, outdoor, and just do whatever, right? Some guy's just like, what are you doing in my house? Okay. Yeah. I'm an indoor, outdoor guy, so. Right now, I'm indoors, which is why I'm eating your leftovers. I'm about to go outdoors and use your pool, so. Have you seen JJ? We're the indoor-outdoor crew. Hope we're not bothering you. There's nothing you can do. I like this job a lot. When I was high school, going into college, and in college, I always worked summer jobs, which can be weird because people work there for real and you're just there. I remember one job, this lady was leaving at like 5 p.m., my first day, and she looked at me and she was like, good night. And it felt weird, you know? Like, you're not my mom, don't tell me when to go to sleep, right? It's either like that or it's like, I love you and now I gotta go to HR, you know? Like, what are you doing? It's 5 p.m., you know? Like, it's just weird because she was like 40. I don't know, she might have been 25, but that's the same demographic when you're 19, you know? And it was different, it was weird, because like, then everybody started saying goodnight, and I get that they were saying goodbye, but that doesn't make it okay, you know? You can't just change the definition of words, because it doesn't work both ways, you know? Like, if you go to bed tonight, and your significant other looks at you, and they're like, goodnight, and then you look at her, and you're like, goodbye. Like, no one gets to go to sleep now. Like, why did you just say goodbye? Oh, I meant to say goodnight, but you didn't. You said goodbye, so now I say goodbye to you, sir. Goodbye. How's that feel? Go to sleep, close your eyes. Goodbye. It doesn't work the other way either, you know? Like, I was in college, right? I was watching TV with my roommate, and all of a sudden he looked at me, and he was like, goodbye. Instead of leaving the house, he went into his bedroom, and he shut the door, and it got real quiet, and he turned off the light. Like, I gotta call 911 now, you know? I went to orientation, see something, say something. If you wait, it's too late. Like, 911, what's your emergency? Well, I don't know if we got one, but my roommate said goodbye, and he didn't leave the house, so I think one of us is about to not be alive anymore. And we just signed a year lease, so that could really mess up someone's Christmas. I don't know. I like Christmas. I like going home for Christmas. I went home for Christmas during the pandemic, the first one, not the sequel. And I was the only one of my brothers that made it home. My mom was excited. She was like, what would you like for Christmas? And I was like, you don't have to do that, you know, because they've done too much already. Like, I lived at home with my parents to my mid-20s. I know. Look at me now. Mid to late, really. Like, just late. Like, I keep a car there. And things, if you want to use my room, you got to ask first, so my mom can clean it. And, yeah, they're great. I remember when I lived there, though, because I had to pay rent, like a little bit. And I remember, because one year, my dad did my taxes. Well, I don't know, he still does. But, like, he has to. He's an accountant. I could go to jail. And I remember that year, because he was like, Michael, you made more money this year, so you're going to have to start paying more rent around here. It was kind of awkward, you know? They have to be like, Dad, as my accountant, I'm going to have to ask you to not share the information with my landlord. I don't know all the technical terms, but it feels like a breach of privacy. And I would hate for you to get your certification revoked. over such a minor technicality. Anyway, I was like, Mom, you don't have to do that, you know? I just want to see you and Dad have dinner or whatever. And she got excited. She's like, no, make a list. Which I don't know, as a kid, it's fun to make a list because you don't have anything. You just believe that whatever, like I remember for my birthday one time, I asked for a football that you could put a glow stick in so we could play football at night. Because we'd be outside playing, and my dad would always be like, you gotta come in now. You can't see the ball anymore. And my dream was just to be like, no, Dad, you can see the ball. You just can't see us. And then I got it. I got that for my birthday. My older brother bought it for me, and then I found out I was 6 years old and just not allowed to play outside at night. It's just weird now, as an adult, in this day and age, because to buy something for myself, I'll Google it, and then I can do all the internet research I want to. There's millions of searches you can read through and find, and then once you find the thing you want, you get to be like, now it's mine, you know, or whatever you do, you know? This is mine. And you get to click it, and then it's yours. But to make a list, you gotta do all that research, and then you get to be like, now I get to hope. Like, now I get to hope that the two people in my life who are the worst at the internet can somehow follow these breadcrumbs to my Christmas miracle. And I think my parents might be the worst at the internet. Like if you ever had to do surveillance on my mom and dad, all you'd have to do is just FaceTime them. And when the conversation's over, just don't hang up. You'll go everywhere they go. They'll be happy to have you. I don't know. It's weird now as an adult, too, because I have a credit card and I don't think about the future, so it's a lot like Santa, right? But way less pressure. You know, there's pressure when you're a kid. You ask Santa for something, and everyone's like, well, you better not cry. Like, it's in a song. You better not cry. In order to receive gifts on the day that everybody in your life is going to get a gift, do not express sadness around the adults. And they make them feel weird. And as a kid, you're like, sure, tears off. I'll be in therapy as an adult. That's fine. Like, Michael, how come you don't feel safe crying around others? Because I wouldn't get Ninja Turtles. Are you kidding me? You better not cry. Or pout, really, if you want to get Shredder, too. Or Bebop, or Rocksteady, or Casey Jones. It's Wayne Gretzky on steroids. It's from a movie. And if there's no bad guys, what are the turtles going to do all day? You know, volunteered after school programs? It's good, but I don't know. I remember that year for Christmas, I got my mom a handmade ornament, not by my hands, by someone who's really good at it. The lady lives in Chile, and she makes the ornaments with her hands, and then she mails them to Whole Foods, and which is a grocery store in some cities. And I remember what my parents got for me that year for Christmas. They asked for a list, but they didn't have to, you know? They could have gotten me whatever, but they did get me a Visa gift card, which is weird to get when they ask you for a list. Because that wasn't on the list. I thought that would be rude if someone's like, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, oh, whatever I'll get when you die, but less, you know? You're healthy, pace it out, right? It's just weird. Like it kind of felt like it was a joke. Like, what are we getting for Michael? A Visa gift card. Well, we got to throw him off the scent. We'll ask him for a list. Oh, that's good. Because then he'll Google things, and he'll hope, and he'll wonder, and then on Christmas night, he'll open it up, and we'll get to be like, you gotta go to the store and get it yourself. What? That's not even affiliated with a specific store. It'll never work online. You've just been Christmased by Raymond and Peggy. And then they chest bump. Like they just hit the game winner. Like, my mom taped the receipt to the back. Like, I believe that you purchased it, Peggy. What is this for? So I can walk into a store and be like, I'd like to return this. And they'd be like, for what? I don't know. I made a list. Do you have that stuff? When someone gets you a Visa gift card and they know you, it's generous, but they give it to you in person, they didn't have to, it's kind of like, it's a little bit like they're being like, we wanted to give you cash, but we didn't trust that you use it legally. So, This is where we are. Like, I didn't know what to say, right? When someone gets you a gift, that's a gift. All you have to do is just list the characteristics in an emotional way, and people know you love it. Like, what? A gray vest? I can wear that for my show in Wabash. But if he's a gift card, that sounds insane to open up and just be like, oh, you knew that I use money. And Visa's my favorite financial lending institution. It's everywhere I want to be. Where did you get this? How did you find this? You must have went to Walmart or Target. Did you find a Kmart that's still open? Maybe you went to Home Depot or Lowe's. Did you go to a grocery store that's owned by like Kroger, but it's named something else? So when you shop there, you still feel like you're supporting your community? Like, how did you even think of this? Were you in the checkout and it wasn't even in your brain yet? You weren't even thinking about it. But then out of the corner of your eye, you saw the kiosk and you're just like, gift card, okay. There's someone coming over for Christmas who I don't know that well, but might get me some. Oh yeah, my middle son. What's his name? Like, you shouldn't have, because you didn't. That's why. I try to do a lot of things with my son. He loves animals, so we go to the zoo. He knows all the farm animal noises. But we also eat meat, like every day. And I don't think he knows that what we're eating could have been a friend. I've tested it, you know. We'll eat a ham sandwich. I'll turn on Peppa Pig. He's fine. He's fine. She's like, oh, Peppa Pig. Chomp. Like, no remorse. I just want to be like, what are you doing? That could have been Peppa's cousin. That's not a good actor, you know? Your second cousin. I don't know. Like, how do you teach a kid about meat, right? Like, hey, Jack. Hey, Jack. You know how sometimes the cow goes, moo, right? Right. Well, sometimes the cow goes, this is blood. I didn't grow up on a farm, so I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know. After the show, I'll be outside if anybody wants to say hi. I really appreciate everybody being here. It's very special. One time after a show, a lady got a little upset about the cow murder sacrifice. And just to be clear, I'll eat steak, but don't murder people for sure. Or manslaughter, if you can help it, which you can't, because that's what it is. If you ever forget the difference between murder and manslaughter, here's how you can remember it. Murder, that's easy. Manslaughter, it's a mnemonic device. You can separate the word into man's laughter. It's kind of dark. That's how you remember it, You picture a man standing over a not alive person just being like, I did not mean to do that. So glad that wasn't on my Google Calendar. Because murder is when you plan it and then you do it, You achieve your goal. It's not a good goal. But you did do a thing, and not everybody does a thing. And manslaughter is when someone's not alive anymore because of something that you did, and you're just like, whoops. No. I touched so much stuff in this room. Like 911, what's your emergency? Well, I ordered a sword online. And I was in my room at night working on my sword swishes. Lights off, headphones on, Eye the Tiger. And all of a sudden, my roommate just walked into my room. And I don't know why he did that, because I said goodbye. And now he should be sent to Resurrection Healthcare. Thank you so much, everybody. Goodbye. Good night. Thank you. All the best. Thanks for making it special.